Welcome back to the channel, my faithful few. In today's video, we're going to dive into the world of basic camera accessories. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you to save yourself some frustration and save you some money at the same time. Before I get started though, if you happen to be new here today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me real quick, and I'm going to do my best to bring you some added value to you and your content creation. Now, it's a whole lot of fun stuff that's out there in the camera gear and accessories world. I mean, some things will make you become more efficient, but like all things, if you don't know the basics, you really don't have anywhere to go. Like I said in the first video that I did for how to choose the right camera, all you really need to do is just become masterful. Become extremely purposeful in your content creation. That way you can be guaranteed that you'll learn the skills that you need in order to be in control of your camera. You'll be in control of your camera, you'll be in control of your camera movement. You got to learn how to be able to make those adjustments on your camera to fit all situations. It's just going to be a deal of you learning your camera and then learning how to use some of these other toys and stuff that are out there, and it's a lot of toys. So now I'm going to talk about the basics, and I want to try to be as realistic with you as possible on the things that you need based on my own experience. This way you don't put yourself in a bad spot because you got a brand new camera and you can't even handle an hour-long shoot for somebody. Anything that I talk about in my video, whatever it is I have in the description, is something that you can be guaranteed that I either own or have owned and that I paid for with my own money. So that's just kind of a preface to, I'm going to give you all the goods on what it is that I've learned from using my own equipment. Half of it, I don't even pull it out of the bag. So I'm going to show you in this video exactly what it is that I use. We're going to talk about this in terms of power, storage, audio, vision, stabilization, and tools. And it really is that simple. Everything else that you see later on down the line, it's just extra, and it's a lot of extras and a lot of things that'll make your job a lot easier. But there's no need to jump right into those things right now when you still got to really learn how to use your camera. But without these things that I just mentioned, power, storage, vision, stabilization, you will struggle because you'll find yourself not being able to do the most basic things for your product, and you'll be in way too many learning curve situations that will put you far from the foundations and keep you in gear learning curves. Typically when you get a camera, the camera is going to come with at least one battery. Well, most cameras are going to come with at least one battery and a battery charger because they want you to at least be able to have that one name brand battery. You will need replacements. I mean, I would never take a chance with going on any shoot with just having the battery that's in my camera. So just make sure that you've got enough batteries that you feel like can be able to hold you over through an entire shoot. That being the case, you also want to be able to have a battery charger. You want to be able to have a battery charger that you can take with you, and you also want to be able to have battery chargers you can have, say, at your house, where you can be able to have those batteries charged up and ready to go at all times. Storage. I've got storage for being on set, mobilization, which is carrying gear from one place to another, and then I've got storage for actual shoots. If I'm shooting sports, then typically I'm going to have a fanny pack. Well, a camera fanny pack is going to have compartments. Usually a camera fanny pack is going to have a place for a long lens, and then also you have several other compartments on that fanny pack, so you have a place to be able to put a couple of extra memory cards. You'll also have a place where you can be able to put a few extra batteries, and also you have a place where you can be able to put some cables, some USB cables, depending on what your camera uses, because you never know if a cable has failed on you. I mean, I've actually been on a shoot before where I thought my monitor stopped working, but really it was the HDMI cable. So that right there is kind of how I use my fanny pack. So if I'm out and I'm shooting sports and I'm on the field, if I'm doing some pregame stuff, then I'm more than likely going to have, a medium lens. But once the game goes and I'm on the sidelines, then I'll have a long lens, my 70 to 200. So I need to be able to swap those lenses out. I don't want to just try to stick a lens in my pocket. I also don't want to be walking around the field with a big backpack on for a couple of hours. And then, of course, I definitely don't want to be running around with a case, that's huge, because then you got to watch the case. Then you got to make sure nobody's messing with the case, and you just don't want to have and it's a huge case, and you don't want to have a lot of gear in there and having to manage it. If you got a fanny pack, you've got your batteries in there, you've got your memory cards, and it's right on your person, so it's easy to manage, it's easy to get to. You can make changes in and out. So fanny pack is probably one of my go-to in terms of storage. The cases, cases are good for mobilization. Like if you're going to a set or you're going to be part of a crew, you need to be able to carry your specific stuff, and you know that you'll be able to put your things in an area. That's going to make it a lot easier. What you don't want to do is show up on set and got your camera in your hand, just bare naked camera in your hand, you ready to go do your thing, because you may need to take it off, or you might want to set it down. You don't want to have to just be stuck with it that entire time. And if you've got other things, you want to be able to be comfortable on set. Other forms of storage besides fanny packs, cases, and backpacks, which will have compartments as well. Again, it just kind of depends on the situation. If you're going to need more than what can be in a fanny pack, but less than what can be in an actual camera case, then yeah, a backpack would be your next best thing. Memory cards, you want to make sure that you check the compatibility of the memory cards for your particular camera. In particular, you want to make sure that if your camera is shooting 4K, like we said, your camera needs to be able to shoot in the video that I did, how to choose the right camera. You want to make sure if your camera is shooting 4K that you check the specs to see the memory card that you're using is able to keep up with recording consistent 4K footage. The main reason being is because if you get a card that can't keep up with it, you'll have to drop down in your resolution. A lot of times it'll be able to make it for you at 4K, but if the card you have can't transfer enough data per second, then you may not be able to go at 4K 60 frames a second or 4K 120 frames a second. So make sure that you check the compatibility of those memory cards before you make that purchase, to make sure you're making the right purchase. I mean, if you go find a $10 card, you might only be able to transfer 60 megabytes a second. That won't be good. Audio, you just want to make sure that you have a mic on your camera. That'll be the simplest way to go for right now. You'll have plenty of time to go into lab mics and Wi-Fi mics and super expensive crazy mics, but for right now you just need a simple onboard mic that you can be able to plug in. The most advanced feature that I would say that your mic needs to have, you need to be able to adjust the input on your mic. Like you can turn it up so that way if your mic is not going to be close enough to your subject, you can be able to turn it up enough and put on a set of headphones so that you can be able to listen, so you can go ahead and be satisfied with the sound that you're getting before you actually hit that record button. Vision, a couple of different things about vision. One of those is ND filters. Okay, we want to make sure we can have an ND filter, which is a neutral density filter, and they kind of take on the role of controlling light so that you can be able to get the kind of exposure that you need to get, like in super crazy bright daylight situations. You want to be able to have an ND filter, so that way when you're able to get focused in on your subject, you can use that ND filter to basically maintain the exposure that you're needing for your output. The other thing is going to be a monitor. You've got monitors, and then you have video recorders. Your monitors would pretty much allow you to be able to see what it is that you have being transferred through either Wi-Fi or HDMI and then you can see what's on screen. It'll have a good monitor will have some exposure tools. It'll also have some focus tools, and you may be able to have one that actually will allow you to see what your Rec 709 look is like with a LUT. So and video recorders, the difference between a video recorder and a video monitor is that the video recorder can also actually record footage just like your camera can. So take your pick between those. If you're just starting up, I would say just get a basic monitor that at least has some exposure tools on there, as well as some some focus assistance, stabilization. Nobody likes shaky footage. I mean, and there's enough videos out there with gimbals and sliders and extremely expensive tripods. But I'm gonna tell you, typically every camera will come with one of the best stabilizers possible for when you're just getting started, and that is your camera strap. The camera strap is a bad boy. You can always get 3 points of contact with it. If you got that camera strap and you put it around your neck and you pull it tighter, you can wrap it around your arm and pull that tight. You can move just like you got a gimbal, and you'll still be able to get footage that is comparable to having a high dollar gimbal. But you've just spent a couple of $1,000s on the camera. You may not want to be able to go, or even be able to go out and spend another $1,000 on a decent gimbal that'll do all of these things that you see over the internet. Just start off with the basics. Learn the camera moves. When you learn the camera moves, you can do those organically with just your 2 hands and a camera strap. Imagine how much of the learning curve you'll cut out of there when you pick up an actual gimbal. You'll understand what's going on, and you won't be learning camera moves with the gimbal. You'll already know camera moves. You'll just be learning the mechanics behind using a gimbal. Tripods, probably one of the oldest and best forms of stabilization out there. You lock a shot down and that's it. But you may not need a tripod, or your particular vision may not call for the use of a tripod. So it's it's depending on what kind of content you're wanting to create. That's kind of how you got to tread. But even with tripod movements, there's still camera movements that you'll need to learn with just picking up a tripod. So for right now, I'm going to say camera strap is like one of my number ones. Number 2 is definitely going to be that tripod. Tripod for stationary shots, and then camera strap for moving shots. There'll be plenty enough times for gimbals and steady cams and glide cams and fly cams and all those other cams. Camera cages, adding a camera cage and a top handle, I mean, that's been crucial for me. I like to shoot handheld. Being able to get in areas that you just can't get that you just can't get to with a gimbal or a glide cam or a steady cam or any of those other accessories. I like being able to have a camera that's kind of weighted down with a V-block battery, a cage, top handle, a monitor. I even like just pretty much shooting handheld, grabbing my own focus and just going with it. Because a lot of times, you kind of think that a shot has to be this super long shot in order for it to be a correct shot. But really what you'll find is that your completed video is made up of a lot of small individual shots that you plan out or that you're able to capture and then put together to make a full video. So that'll just having a camera cage and a top handle, that's just gonna give you added stability, added control, and added versatility, because now you have more points of control. You'll be able to see what's going on. You're not trying to squeeze out every little detail in this small monitor. You have better focus, and I definitely say top handle, camera cage, camera strap, you're ready to go. Tools are very important. You're gonna have to make camera adjustments. You've got a cage is either gonna be flat heads or Allen wrenches. You'll have to be able to make those adjustments. You need to pull your camera in and out of a cage, or if you have to pull your camera in and out of a cage, depending on the manufacturer of that cage, you're going to have to be able to use Allen wrench and or a flathead screwdriver. So those are just handy tools to be able to have anyway. You're out there and you're trying to get something done. You need to be able to put a monitor on, or you need to be able to make an adjustment to a dummy battery or a V-block battery setup, something like that, where you're trying to extend the life of a battery or just use a single battery for a set. You'll need to be able to make some adjustments, so you'll need some tools. It's nothing like pulling out a quarter or a penny or having to ask somebody for one, so that you can be able to unscrew something that has a flat head on it. But imagine that you don't know that screw is an Allen wrench top, and it's like, but basic tools. You can get like the little pocket knife tool deal, and as long as you can do the Allen wrench, and you can do the flathead or even a Phillip head, you'll be in good shape. So I want to encourage you to consider the specific needs that you feel like you'll need to begin building your kit. Have fun exploring the world of filming and photography first. You don't have to have these accessories in order to be competent. You just have to be consistent in your grind to get better. You have to just pull that camera out and just start shooting in all conditions until you are able to get control of the images that you want. When you begin to get that output that you want, and it takes some time, when you first start off, everything is going to look better than what it was to you when you first started, because we just don't know enough. But as you continue to go, as you continue to be tested, you'll be able to see that you're just getting better and better. And some of these accessories that I just told you, if you have those, then you're going to be fine on any shoot. I don't care if it's today or 5 years from now. You've got batteries, you've got memory cards, you've got a monitor where you can make sure that you've got focus, and that also that your exposure is good. If you've got ND filters because you're outside shooting, if you've got pocket knife with Allen wrench, Phillip head, and flathead tops, then you'll be able to make sure that if you need to make a change or switch your camera over to a tripod or put a Manfrotto plate on the bottom to slide it on, that you can do that. And then also, if you've got some kind of storage where you're able to change your lenses, change your cars, change your batteries, you're ready to shoot. It don't matter what the situation is, you are ready to shoot. So let's keep it simple. Let's get control of our camera right now at this point, because that's the point we're at. We just want to get good control of our camera and be able to shoot. So that being the case, hopefully this video didn't take too long for you. I really wanted to hit on those particular topics. And so now I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for coming by to visit the channel. Not sure what got you here, but I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. I'm going to put together more of these videos so that for those that are just starting out and they're kind of doing the self-teaching thing, hopefully I can be able to bring some added value to you by helping you to shortcut some of those learning curves without a lot of the gray area and without a lot of the hidden information, because you won't really find any gatekeeping here. I take the work that I've been able to do and get accomplished, and especially the things that I've learned, I take them and accept them humbly, and I don't mind sharing it. If you could get into my circle of cats that are just in the game, we chop it up about it and we share, period. So if you know someone who would benefit from this information, please share it with them, and we'll see you on the next one.